Today I am continuing my rising sign series with Virgo rising, and we're going to take Mercury, the ruler of Virgo, through all 12 signs and 12 houses. Let's dive in. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer specializing in natal, relationship, and predictive astrology. If you'd like to work with me, you can book the reading down below. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe, leave me a comment or a like. I truly appreciate all of the support I get from you guys, and it helps my channel to be seen and to grow. So I did a video on Sun, Moon, and Rising, the difference between those three. So you definitely want to take a look to check that out. And if you don't know how to find your rising sign, there's a link down below, or you can Google a natal chart calculator and you will see your rising sign as marked rising or ascendant, because those two are the same thing. So Virgo rising is a child of Mercury, and of course, and it's a feminine child of Mercury. It's a yin sign, very receptive. So there's going to be those qualities that are associated with a feminine version of the messenger and the planet of communication, transportation, commerce that we'll see in Virgo risings. Some of the famous Virgo risings are Emma Watson, Keanu Reeves, Jay-Z. That is why him and Beyonce work, because otherwise Sag and Virgo are not your classical traditional pairing. Sharon Stone, Renee Zellweger, and Uma Thurman. So a rising sign describes what we look like, right? And physically, Virgo rising people can seem very cool and very much in control of their lives. They tend to be very well put together, like every piece of clothing matches everything else, the earrings, the hat, etc. There's just like clean look, classy outfits that they have. Their eyes tend to be very thoughtful and kind of, they may move, their eyes might move a lot. They may talk with their hands. There's a gentle oval face a lot of times, and a lot of nervous energy. If you listen to my Gemini rising video, any Gemini risings, there's a bit of a similarity. It's like, it's Mercury, so there's kind of, anxiety a little bit. So yes, they seem cool and collected, but they may also like fidget and move around a lot, or they don't like to sit still for too long. Because they're ruled by the planet of the mind, they're usually highly intellectual and curious, and they love learning, they love exploring things, and they tend to think quite logically about things. Of course, dependent on what their sun sign and their moon sign, that will color their personality a lot, but outwardly they may be really fact focused. And of course, the danger of any Virgo, as a Virgo stellium myself, is like getting stuck. There's the danger of getting stuck in minutia and getting too stuck in details, losing track of the bigger picture. They're steady, they're reliable, they're hardworking, together with Cap risings, arguably two of the hardest workers of the zodiac, and they achieve a lot in life based on their hard work. Very humble, and in their humility, there's kind of this quiet charm. And they love to help people. They love to do the kind of work that benefits. I know a few Virgo risings. There's an astrologer I know, and a fitness trainer, and someone who has a child with autism, and she kind of is a spokesperson for that, as well as doing yoga. So together with that desire to help people, there's usually a strong awareness of the body and the physicality and the health, so they can be quite health conscious and aware and careful with what they put into. Oh, there's also a nutritionist. Sorry, Mercury in the first house, like ooh. So yeah, like nutritionists, like definitely a lot of them, even if they're not in the healing type of career, they will go above and beyond to help people. As a Virgo sun, I encounter a lot of Virgo rising, so it's just like there's a lot of them popping into my head. They can be self-critical, but I think a lot of times that self-criticism is used to push them forward and to achieve more. And they can be very good with their hands, or good with crafts, or with puzzles, like anything that requires mental effort and, you know, kind of like mental stamina. Very organized, very kind of materially driven sometimes, not necessarily like materialistic, but focused on the tangible achievements and tangible success. Like, you know, this is the book that I wrote, this is the award that I won. There's a need, I think, for recognition quite often. So let's take a look at Mercury. Virgo is ruled by Mercury through all the different signs, and let me know if this resonates in the comments below. I do use whole sign. So when I talk about Mercury in Virgo and I say that it's Mercury in the first house, if you use Placidus, it might not be for you. It might be in the 12th, it might be in the 2nd. So you may want to listen to both the sign and the house placement and then compare and see what resonates the most. So before we dive in, for those with Mercury in the first house or Mercury in Virgo, Mercury rejoices in the first house. Lots of communication, being very flexible, being very adaptable, great at dealing with different people, kind of like knowing right away what they need. There's a lot of self-consciousness and a lot of self-awareness. That's, you know, whenever the ruler of the first house is in the first house, you are the main kind of like driving force in your life. You're very self-driven. Doesn't equal selfish, but you're someone who is very curious to understand themselves, and you likely to talk a lot. You're likely to talk faster than most people, and you may talk about yourself quite a lot because Mercury is your ruler in the first house. There's a lot of interest in yourself. You're mentally alert, quick, inquisitive, humorous, may have a lot of ideas, a lot of kind of different perspectives on different things. It is Mercury in Virgo, so quite adaptable. You are, as any Virgo rising, very career oriented and can make a good manager, and you love to travel, most likely. You love to learn and you love to travel. For those with Mercury in the second house or Mercury in Libra, Mercury is what we talk about. Second house is money, values. So you may talk a lot about money, and you may make money through intellectual enterprises. So writing, sales, travel, communication. There's technology, right? Like being in a tech field, being in marketing is very much likely when you have Mercury in the second house. And you have strong values, and you may talk about your values. You may be someone who's like known for setting strong boundaries and putting people and sharing your knowledge with people, or like, you know, expressing yourself with people. If your Mercury is in Libra, you are highly diplomatic, and that can be helpful for you professionally. You're not gonna ruffle feathers. You're gonna have like very patient, calm, eloquent speech. And Mercury deals with changes, right? So sometimes when you have Mercury in the second house, you may have more than one source of income. Maybe you have a tarot business and you also work a service career, for example. You like work as a waitress to make money. And because Mercury is connected to change, there might be like swift changes in your income. Money comes in, money goes out. You just made a lot of money and then you need to spend it on your home renovation project. Spending money on things that make your life easier, technology, books, education, different classes, is likely something that will bring you joy. And you know, like you may have your own business as a possibility here too. For those with Mercury in the third house or Mercury in Scorpio, third house is our daily life, communication, siblings, neighborhood, and Mercury naturally speeds up every area, every sector it's placed in. So you are probably someone who's busier. You may have a very packed schedule, lots of get-togethers. You may communicate a lot. You may be like on your phone a lot more, and likely talking to your siblings, possibly. This is another very strong placement for being in business, having your own, your own thing. Using your hobbies, I think, to make money is quite likely, or using your hands, using your skills. Because it's Mercury in Scorpio, you may be naturally interested in spirituality, in occult. You're likely to be more intuitive and able to use your intuition for yourself professionally. Third house is the daily routine. So not only Mercury here speeds up your daily life, it also is very encouraging for you to kind of go along talking with people, engaging in chit chat with friends, and making friends easily. I think making friends from your neighbors comes quite naturally to you. For those with Mercury in the 4th house or Mercury in Sagittarius, you are very home and family oriented, and you may look a lot like one of your parents, perhaps your mother, but could also be your father. And maybe even, because Mercury rules your 1st and it rules your 10th house of career. So you may also even be in family business, or you take after a parent and pursue a career that they have. Definitely like very close ties with the parents. Of course, there's other placements in the 4th house might affect that, and maybe you become who you are against the will of your parents, but there's definitely, if you dig deep, you will see a connection between who you are and, who your parents were or are. You are very interested in real estate, very interested in security and having kind of like a comfort place. Comfort zone is important. 4th house is at the bottom of the chart. It's, it's the midnight roughly time, and because it's so far at the bottom of the chart, you may sometimes feel like your true voice only comes out with people you're comfortable with, or only with family members. So on the negative, there might be that issue with not being heard, or not being heard correctly by people you're not close with. At the same time, this is great for like working on things on your own, for your imagination, for kind of like dedicating some time to write, for example, or even having a home office, having like a space in your home that is just yours, where you go to think and write. And yeah, like running a business from home is quite likely here. Or being in real estate, being a historian, dealing with families, doing like decor matters is a possibility here too. Because Mercury is connected with change, in 4th house is the house of home and family. You may also be someone who has moved quite a lot as a kid, or you as an adult, you like to change apartments and you don't like staying in the same spot. Watch out for being driven by just like restlessness. Instead, it's great to move apartments, but try not to shake up your life just for the sake of shaking it up, especially if you already have a family of your own. For those with Mercury in the 5th house or Mercury in Capricorn, there's a lot of focus in your life on the topics of children, as well as romance, sex, joy, pleasure, and creativity. You may be very creative. You may be making money through a creative enterprise. For example, writing, dancing, singing. There's a lot of different possibilities. Because 5th house deals with children, you may get a very mercurial child, like a Virgo or a Gemini, or just a child that chit-chats, like talks up a storm. And it's also likely where a lot of your focus goes. Like a lot of your focus goes towards taking care of or working with children. And you may even be in education, because like 5th house sometimes deals with like early education. Your romantic life might kind of be faster. There might be faster turnaround, and you likely prefer people who are intelligent and talkative and communicative, and also quite ambitious in nature. Even, you know, that communication definitely comes through in the way you approach creativity. You might enjoy working with a partner when it comes to creative projects, or the way you are as a parent. Like, you might just be more encouraging of your child's intellectual development and intellectual growth. For those with Mercury in the 6th house or Mercury in Aquarius, you are very work and service oriented. It's a placement for people who want to change the world and who want to help people, because 6th house is classically a place of, like, you know, things befalling us, things kind of like happening to our health, things happening to our home. There's like a lot of problem solving going on in the 6th house. And with this placement, not only you are great at problem solving, you're also very interested in doing the kind of work that, you know, helps other people solve their problems. 6th house dealing with health, and your chart ruler being in the 6th house might imply that you're very health oriented and kind of very aware of your body. And you may know a lot more about diet and exercise and be kind of fascinated by the topic, gathering information or using that. Even being a nutritionist or being a dietitian or being a fitness trainer, I can see with this position for sure. And let me know if this resonates in the comments below. You can also be a lawyer. You can also be a doctor, working once again to help people who are underprivileged, misunderstood. As always with Mercury, there's a danger of like scattering your energy and dealing with anxiety and dealing with like overwhelm. So you want to make sure you have a practice that slows you down: meditation, journaling, getting massages, being in touch with your body. And finally, for those with Mercury in the 6th house also deals with pets. So I can also see you guys being very having a soft spot for the animals, and maybe even like volunteering at a shelter or being a veterinarian and helping animals, or just having a bunch of animals yourself too. For those with Mercury in the 7th house or Mercury in Pisces, a lot of focus in your life goes to relationships. You see yourself as someone who is very interested in the life of others. You may find a sense of accomplishment through helping others, through like giving your energy to other people. And even coming up with ideas or making decisions may oftentimes be a byproduct of you consulting with your partner and, you know, working with your partner. This is great for starting a business, for, you know, coming together with someone else and working together. You are also likely very interested in, romantically, you'll be interested in communicative partners, in intelligent, well-educated partners. They might be spiritual to some extent. Having almost like a friendship, having intellectual compatibility becomes very important with this placement. And there might be like faster or more opportunities to date when you have Mercury in the 7th house, where just, you know, like you broke up with one person and the next person is knocking on your door. Definitely a lot of romantic possibilities, and you definitely tend to flock to lively and talkative and social people. For those with Mercury in the 8th house or Mercury in Aries, you are highly intuitive, and a lot of focus in your life goes towards sharing resources with other people, collaborating with other people. You may be very financially oriented because 8th house deals with other people's money. So working in finance, working in accounting is a possibility here. 8th house is also a dark house, so it's all the things that are unseen, invisible, mysteries. So a lot of times you may be more intuitive and kind of more aware of what's going on between people, what are they not saying, kind of like being able to pick up on those things. And you are likely to be interested in astrology, tarot, esoteric kind of things, psychology, right? You can be a great therapist. Basically, Mercury in the 8th is really great for working with other people and coming up with like a synthesis, coming up with an idea that you wouldn't have come up with on your own. At the same time, you may struggle to see yourself as a relevant mind on your own. Just make sure you're working on your self-confidence, because your ideas are as significant as mine or the other person's. And watch out for getting too stuck in the topics of fairness and unfairness, because sometimes your thinking might just be like so focused on other people and what they're giving to you or what they're not giving to you, that you might kind of forget about the big picture and about kind of what the purpose of the relationship is. And another thing too, 8th house is the place of fears and it's the place of sudden events. So sometimes you might also be working with other people's minds. So that interest in psychology can show up in being a therapist, or you can have a work schedule that is kind of unpredictable. There might be, you know, irregular work hours. There might be a lot of fires you have to put out. And once again, the more you collaborate with other people, the more you work with other people, the more at ease you will feel. For those with Mercury in the 9th house or Mercury in Taurus, you are very interested to learn. You love to learn. You are constantly working on yourself, constantly exploring new things, never standing still. You will naturally be questioning faith a lot, most likely in religion, and like maybe even going through certain changes when it comes to that, like, you know, being born a Catholic, going to church, and then becoming a Muslim later in life. You're just, yeah, like your mind is very interested in understanding things. And of course, you know, since this is Taurus too, you may go through those changes, but you may kind of, every time you go through a change, you might be like, this is it, I figured it out. As Taurians tend to be, they oftentimes tend to be very like sure in their opinions. But yeah, your mind is naturally interested in spirituality. It's interested in astrology. There's a love for deep conversations. There might be a love for foreigners and kind of a sense of tolerance, a natural appreciation of people who can bring different things to the table. You can be a great writer with this placement too, a great writer, philosopher, teacher, natural, I think, joy when it comes to teaching. And traveling will bring you a lot of excitement, and a lot of opportunities can also come from travel. For those with Mercury in the 10th house or Mercury in Gemini, so Mercury rules Gemini. This is another wonderful, strong placement. You are very professionally oriented. You are interested in building a successful career. You are very interested in the image you project to the world and how people perceive you. Being known for your successes is very important. Being known for your words. Mercury in the 10th is oftentimes a communication-based career. So even being a YouTuber, a blogger, a writer, being a spokesperson or speech writer is likely here. You will do a lot of communication for work, and also likely a lot of travel, even if it's not huge, far away kind of travel, but a lot of short-term travel. And having a career that deals with language is important, whether you are a translator or a writer, or you write code, right? Because computer code is also a language. Having a career that stimulates your mind is super important. You're not likely going to fare well in a job that is not very intellectually stimulating, where you're just like unloading blocks or unpacking things, or like you definitely need something that is more exciting. For those with Mercury in the 11th house or Mercury in Cancer, you are very friendship oriented, very kind of interested in getting together with friends. You may be the person who organizes things a lot and, putting things and people together, maybe speaking on behalf of a group a lot of times. 11th house deals with social welfare. So you may be like naturally someone who volunteers a lot or helps people out, or works at a soup kitchen. There's definitely like interest in helping the world. And of course it's also Mercury in Cancer, so there is natural sensitivity to your speech, care and warmth and generosity of your spirit. Having a career that is somehow helping the world and benefiting the world, I think is likely and can bring you a lot of joy. And I feel like you definitely need a social career. You definitely need like to work for a large organization maybe, or be a chef and work at a large restaurant. Using language is important professionally. There might be a lot of opportunities coming to you through friends and through networking, through like going to a party and meeting someone there, and then they hire you, and you likely to have a lot of acquaintances, even if they're not your closest friends. You know them and you're able to like navigate them. You're able to adapt to different people and different personalities. This is very much placement of like, knowing everyone and hearing and knowing everything about everyone. So you can also use that knowledge to your advantage whenever, like, if you need to connect with someone, or what type of chocolate the person likes, so you can give it to them. Finally, for those with Mercury in the 12th house or Mercury in Leo, Mercury, any chart ruler in the 12th house, creates a lot of interest on spirituality. And it may, its 12th house is the hidden place. So growing up, you may feel like you're unseen, you're a little bit misunderstood, you're insecure and shy when you're younger. But then as you get older, you're more able to build a sense of stable identity. The more you get in touch with the 12th house topics like spirituality, astrology, tarot, foreign lands, helping people, the more at ease with yourself you're likely to feel. The more you'll understand and kind of respect and cherish your knowledge. And your sense of confidence will also likely build up, will kind of grow stronger. There is strong intuition and highly perceptive mind that these people have, being able to pick up on signals. Of course, there's always, as a Virgo, right? Virgo rising, you may have a tendency to overthink your intuition and have it take you further away from what you actually perceived and what was the truth. And you may go through challenges more in life. You may go through certain losses that will make you stronger, because the goal with any planet in the 12th house is to release the material attachments and to kind of learn to live life that is more in line with the collective, that is more in line with our spiritual purpose. So if you have this placement and you're not tapping into spirituality, I mean, I guess if you're here, you are. But if you don't have like a regular spiritual practice, a regular meditation or journaling practice, you can definitely benefit from that. And finally, because Mercury rules your first house and it rules your house of career, you can also be in a job that takes you away from home. And just like moving away from home is quite likely with this placement. Moving away from family, right? And like going off and exploring new possibilities. But yeah, like working with a foreign company or working in a foreign place, having a job that maybe you work for the government, but you are a diplomat in another country is a possibility here. So this is it, all 12 houses. Thank you for listening. Say hello in the comments below if you made it, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.